Good evening. Welcome to the Nursing 540 Module 4 Hangout. My name is Dave Kent. I'm the leader this week. We will start out by going over the roles of everybody. Lisa is the scribe, Yuhong is our timekeeper and our submitter, and Janine is our facilitator this week. So go ahead, Yuhong.
Okay, hi everyone. Our meeting is starting at 8:09 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Okay, so we're going to get started by going over Part A, the discussion of the 5 different guidelines for the health promotion assessment. So we can start by divvying out who wants to do which section of that.
Dave, I'm still getting a lot of feedback on your voice. I'm hearing you Hong clear.
I think I can hear my voice through somebody's speakers.
Okay, well that's better right now. All right.
How's that? Is that better? Lisa, I didn't hear you.
I'm on mute unless I'm talking, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Go
ahead, Janine.
We had been talking previously before we had to restart. Yuhong, my understanding for number 3 was that we were just going to discuss it in general right now, all this stuff. So the general summary of the person's interviewed, we just talk about what we did, and then one person summarizes it in a paragraph form. So I don't think we have to all do the different components. I think the idea is we divide it up, and then we talk about it as a group, and you get the idea for your paragraph off of what we discussed tonight. That was my understanding of the assignment.
My understanding is the general summary of the person's interviewed. Maybe just 1 or 2 sentences of each person. That's my understanding. And then how did you recruit the participants? You mean like we talk about now, and then somebody, whoever going to be responsible is part of what write it down? And
yeah. So you're all responsible for different sections. This whole meeting tonight is to discuss how our tool went, whether it was effective, how we recruited people, all those things, and then we take this summary of what we discussed today and we put it into a written form and then submit it. And then we have to look at 2 other people's summaries individually and answer, what we think about theirs. Does that make sense?
For example.
But like I said before, I'm happy to take any of them. So if there's something that somebody wants in particular, or if you want me to do the general summary of everybody's number 3, I can do that. It doesn't matter.
Okay. I think I can do 4 and 5 then. Maybe just yeah.
You'll do 4 and 5. Lisa and Dave, do you have a preference? Or I'd said earlier I could do 6 and 7 or 7 and 8. Or honestly, I don't have a preference.
I have no preference. I can do. We're talking about the guidelines for summary health promotion assessment, correct?
Correct.
I can do 1 and 2. We each need to do 2. You said I can do 1 and 2.
You do 1 and 2.
Unless you wanted them, Dave. It's up to you guys. I have no preference.
It doesn't much matter.
Well, even though 6 and 7 are similar, 2 different people could still do them. I'm happy to do 3 and 6 or 7 and 8, either way. What do you want to do, Dave? Pick one.
I think 3 and 8 are fine. I mean, 3 is a little bit longer, but 8 doesn't seem like it would be all that long. I think it's fine. I'm good with 3 and 8.
You're good with 3 and 8?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then that leaves me with 6 and 7?
Correct.
Well, I think 6 and 7 are one of the easier ones. So I know, Lisa, I know you're scribe, but what if I would be happy to set up the outline, set up the paper in format, and put my stuff in, and then submit it into our work area so that you have a starting point. So that way I can do a little bit more to contribute. How's that sound? Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, sounds great.
I'll get the outline going because I know there were some instructions specifically how to set it up that I read about, and I'm off tomorrow, so that's perfect. So I'll get it all set up and add mine, and then I'll put it in the general area, and then if you want to put it into whatever you want to do, leave it there to work on, or Google Docs, or whatever you want to do.
I'll put it on Google Docs.
Okay, then I will get you the outline and the start of it, and then you can go ahead and put it on Google Docs.
Okay, so just to go over this, how do you guys want to do number 3?
What do you want? Do you have something to take notes with, or do you want us just to write you a sentence? I mean, because we could talk about it right now.
Yeah, that might be fine.
I'm thinking that's going to be the easiest for all of us if we kind of go down 1 through 8 and talk about it, and we take notes on our sections, and then we can do it because it's only a 3-page maximum for this. So if we all just take notes and do our 2 areas, I think we're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm good with that.
Okay.
So let's start with number 1.
So we had this written down, components that we used in our assessment. I think it went out in an email, didn't it?
It did. I'm looking for it now.
Yu Hong had sent it.
What's that?
Based on Word.
Remember you had sent, these are the components we're hitting with our tool, right? You had sent clarification email?
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I was in the email. Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, it was
So
in a email.
I kind of also, because there's some area I was not quite sure, what this area could belong to, what pattern or what item. But some other areas, I think they're very, very clear.
Well, and we kind of looked at both. It was Pender and who was the other one? We looked at both.
The Gordon 11 functional health patterns.
Right, and we looked at both and decided that based on the tool that we had found that we were manipulating, it fell in line better kind of with Pender, and then we just massaged it to fit some of the stronger components.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, Lisa, we chose the components based on what we could really develop as a health promotion plan versus just a general assessment.
Right. I'm writing. I'm sorry.
No, I'm trying to think of
that. Like tell each pattern, like example here we have on Penders, there's the health. The first one is I think we covered that. Sorry, I'm just saying the functional health patterns.
Yeah.
Actually, I think under this functional health patterns, there's some area I think kind of cross-covered by Gordon's functional health patterns. So
look on page 84 of Pender.
Well, Pender, I think we have, well, first the sleep history, right, or sleep rest pattern. Wait. Actually, that should be under functional health patterns. Yeah, sleep rest pattern. We have this sleep history disorder. That's under functional health patterns.
Well, we have different components that kind of made up a more comprehensive tool that kind of hit all the different assessment portions, like the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the everything from sleep to coping. We did all those activities, independence, independency. We tried to make a comprehensive tool, I guess is what I'm trying to say, Lisa.
So the way that I see this, it says list the components or patterns chosen for assessment by your group and your rationale. So I think that as I list these, I'm going to list the components, the parts of the assessment for the
That makes sense.
health patterns, and try and tie them into our geriatric, why it would be important, and then why we chose them, and then provide the rationale by using making it to our population. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think that sounds fine. And then on 2, then you can give a brief description of the tool. That's just pretty much, you know, you can use your interpretation of the tool, or some of the things that we just talked about. It being collaborative, it trying to hit the most of the body systems, those kinds of things.
And I'll look back at some of our email exchanges because we kind of talked about some of that stuff when we were, I want this because of that. And then it's really just kind of a description. It's really just, I can pull that out really easy.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That was kind of garbled.
I think that I can pull some of the information from some of the email exchanges that we had because we discussed the tool, and then the rest of it really is just descriptive of the tool.
So you're comfortable you have enough information to roll with for 1 and 2?
I think so. Yeah. This one is, this one is just really.
Okay, number 3.
Sure.
What's SES?
Gender SES.
Socioeconomic status, I assume.
There you go.
Socioeconomic status.
I would go with that. That sounds good.
Yeah.
So you want us just to each give you a synopsis of ours? Will that work,
Sure.
Dave?
Sure.
Okay. I had an 87-year-old female patient who is both a associate and a patient who was happy to act as a patient for this. Social economic status is she is a retired nurse who actually still works in as a chaplain, and the lifespan and characteristics. She's really active in her community. She's got great coping skills. She's got a huge support system, but she's very resistant to care. Imagine that, a nurse who doesn't like taking directions about care. And she has some health issues that have limited her activity over the last year or so, and she's trying to gain her strength back. So although she's mentally, cognitively very with it, she needs physical strength so she can continue to do what she loves to do.
What was her diagnosis?
She actually has bleeding. She has bleeding in. She came in for bleeding in her stools, constipation, and abdominal pain. So she is in the middle of being ruled out for cancer of the colon. So her diagnosis was actually, hang on, I'll tell you. Can't remember.
Abdominal pain.
Yeah, but I'm thinking it was something else I went off. Go. Her diagnoses were history of present illness was change in bowel, elimination, blood, and stools. I haven't seen. Do we have diagnosis on here?
No, I was just curious.
Yeah. No, I don't. She doesn't have. It's not actually listed on here. So she just came in for a change in her elimination pattern, blood and stools is what we had.
Good. Perfect. Okay. Lisa? You're on mute.
Sorry. I have a male. What else do I need to give you? He's a male. He is 78 years old. Social economic status, he's retired. He has been retired for,
Lisa, it's really hard to understand you.
yeah, I hear a lot of feedback while I'm talking to you guys.
So what I got was a 78-year-old male that's retired.
What'd you say?
What I got was that you interviewed a 78-year-old male that was retired.
Let's see, what else do you want to know? Came in for COPD and exacerbation of cough. Smokes half a pack of cigarettes. Let's see. What else did you want in here? I'm looking through.
How is this coping?
Very good. He states he's very laid back person. Just kind of goes with the flow. Has a good support system, and lives with his wife, daughter, son-in-law. Goes to regular doctor visits. Has a history of skin cancer that's been treated.
Is he independent for activities of daily living?
Independent for activities of daily living. Has a history of early onset Alzheimer's disease with some short-term memory loss. However, is still driving, taking care of his own finances, does housework, all of his activities of daily living.
You know what? That's probably good. The rest I can get off of your assessment too. So.
Okay.
Okay, so my patient, she's a 80-year-old female. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Okay, so she's 80-year-old female. She's retired. She lives alone, so her major problems are like mobility, because in the past 4 years she has had multiple falls, so she broke her both hips, so she had like bilateral total hip surgery, and she also had a right knee total knee replacement because of the osteoarthritis. And then she had a car accident last year, and so then she broke her left knee, and she had another surgery. So, but she does have a good support system, including, well, she doesn't have any children, but her sister, her niece, and nephew, they help her a lot. So, her major diagnoses are including osteoporosis, right knee osteoarthritis, and status post bilateral total hip arthroplasty, and the right knee arthroplasty and the left knee surgery. So. And she cooks very well. Yeah, she has a support system, and she's very she's a very happy, optimistic person. She still goes out visiting the museums, travels. It's just, her mobility is impaired. She has to use a walker, and yeah, she cannot drive now. That's basically it. And she's a friend's aunt.
Friends out.
It's good.
Lisa, how did you recruit yours?
Family member.
And Dave, if you need clarification, you can look. We all posted our tools, so it's got our tools are on that area. You can pull them up if you need them.
Yep. How did you recruit yours, Yuhong?
Oh, she's a friend's aunt.
And Janine?
She's actually a retired nurse who I know. She was a colleague many years ago, and I see her. She's a chaplain still. Volunteers as a chaplain.
Okay. Number 4?
Overall results. For me, it identified a problem in resistance to care. That was the big one that we came up with when I was talking with her. Or the other ones, let's see. What else? Resistance to care. Let me look at mine.
I don't know that we identified any.
Well,
issues.
under health, behavioral, and anxiety observations, that's where I found issues. I found that she was anxious, that she was kind of restless, and that she was resistant to care. So in that section of the tool is where I was able to, that actually was the most beneficial for me. It's where I was able to identify something. Does that make sense? What about you guys? Did you identify anything in any of the?
I identified in the part where, oh gosh, what does it say about the self-care, the part that talks about self-calming techniques and spiritual health. Didn't necessarily bring out anything about spiritual health, but brought out this kind of laid-back, care attitude towards health, which means that you're not an active. He wasn't an active health care. Just kind of does what everybody tells him he needs to do.
So he's not actively involved in his own wellness.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear Lisa quite well. You identified spiritual health. What's the problem with the spiritual health or coping?
She was, Lisa, let me see if I can talk because you're getting a little feedback. She was saying that when she used the tool, it helped her identify a problem with her client, which was that he has a real laid-back, kind of laissez-faire attitude. So he doesn't really participate in his own wellness. He doesn't take an he doesn't actively participate in his own health.
Okay. So it's similar to your client, actually, right? Because she's kind of resistant to care.
Oh, she takes care of herself. She goes to all of her pre-screening. She's active. She meditates. She does all those things. So she's totally into her wellness, but she's resistant to doctor's visits, medical treatment, anything like surgery, chemotherapy. She's 87, so she kind of wants to know what's going on, but she doesn't really want to do anything about it. So finding a balance with her. She's resistant to help, very overly independent almost. Does that clarify it better?
So she's very into her self-care, but not to the care by others. Or,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And she does not like to go, she was a nurse for many years, but she does not like to be a patient. So she doesn't like to go to doctors. She doesn't like to go to doctors. She doesn't like to, to take medicines, anything like that.
Okay. Well, for my client, identify the problem. Basically, it's her. I think I mentioned earlier, it's her impaired mobility. So she has to cope with her new baseline, new health status, impaired mobility, and risk for recurrent falls or injuries. So that can kind of limit, and she cannot drive now, so that limits her activities, social activities. So that's her problem.
Are we good?
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Dave? How about your patient?
My patient, basically the thoroughness of our assessment outlined that the patient recognized that she wasn't as independent as he thought she was. When we start going over, are you remembering all of these things? Can you take your medicine? Are you remembering to pay your bills? Are you remembering all these pieces? She wasn't as dependent as she thought she was as we isolated different instances.
Got it. And then who else? Lisa. Oh, Lisa, you already talked about it. Okay.
I think we're good. I think we can go to 5.
Okay.
Describe the strengths of the tools. This could include. I think the strengths of the tools, when you consider even with my patient, is the thoroughness of. I think it can be a strength and a weakness. The thoroughness of our tool can take a lot of time, but it is very thorough. It covers a lot of different aspects of life.
It's definitely comprehensive. I think it's comprehensive. Yuhong, this is your area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was really comprehensive, and I think that it helped stimulate conversation.
And also, actually, I think it doesn't really take that much time to, complete the tool. So that could be a strength too, right? We could say
probably
comprehensive, but not time-consuming.
I think it followed a good organizational pattern. It had a good flow to it.
Okay, good.
It did flow well.
Was that?
It did flow well.
Let's see. Conceptually. I liked the. I haven't really in the past used a lot of ones that had this extensive of a health behavioral anxiety screening, and I liked it. It wasn't just a couple quick questions. It really looked at both what I was observing and what the person was experiencing. So it was a combination of both, which I liked.
I also like the way it wrapped into not only the medical aspect, but also the home life. Are you able to prepare meals? Are you able to do your own laundry? Grocery shopping? Those types of pieces that oftentimes are overlooked.
The self-efficiency, or the independency versus dependency was kind of, there's a drill down for that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it addressed safety.
That it what?
Addressed safety. Safety.
Safety.
So you like it because it addresses safety?
Safety. Be safe.
Be safe.
Does anyone else have anything to add? Okay.
I don't think so.
Number 6.
Um, none of the components on the tool had a scoring system, and some tools do. So when I was looking back over it, it would have been nice if there was some sort of rating other than, like on the activities of daily living, I think that's where I noticed it. It had not able, with help, or able. But there's a big difference between with help and able. You know what I mean? It could be huge, vast differences. So the activity independence, I would have liked to have seen more columns that kind of narrowed it down a little bit more, or specified a little bit more what they were and weren't able to do. Because able or not able is just such a huge gap.
I agree. I wish there was some scoring system to identify when an intervention is necessary and when it's not for certain aspects of the tool.
And I think that that was one thing that our tool was maybe missing. Did anybody have any problems with any of the questions or components?
I did not.
No, no.
No.
And how about, how long did it take you guys to administrate it? It took me a while. It actually took me like 35 to 40 minutes to go over the whole thing, but there was a lot of conversation involved.
Took me a half hour.
Half hour.
Yeah, me too. But,
About 30 minutes, but I don't think that's a long time to assess a patient.
Yeah, I don't. It just depends on your area, but I would agree that that's probably for an initial assessment. I think that it's probably right in where we should be. And do you feel like in that 30 minutes you got a pretty good picture of your patient and an idea of where to go with health planning?
Yes.
So then let's go right into 7, which is the next one. What changes, other than the scoring system, would you suggest for the tool? Nothing?
I feel one thing. One thing is, on this functional health pattern, there's about coping stress tolerance. I feel like this tool doesn't really cover that pattern, but I feel like that's very important for older adults who live alone.
So coping stress tolerance could have been more expansive.
Yeah, I think that part is not covered, but yeah.
Okay.
That's just how I'll feel, but
No,
it's a good tool.
Yeah, other than, I think there was the one area where it asked about self-calming, but that's not really all aspects of coping. That's just one element.
Right.
For me, there was a lot of open text. I like to chart by exception, so that's just my history. So if there was less open text and more boxes, I felt like it would flow better, and I would spend less time focusing on the paper and more time focusing on the patient.
Okay. Okay, anything else before we move to 8?
No.
No.
Okay.
So how would we use the tool at DRHA?
To assess your lifespan group. And our lifespan group is the older adult home health, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that this would be a good initial assessment, on the initial visit.
I think it's a great initial home health assessment. I think it can also be used as a periodic tool every quarter, every month, or couple months to great progress too, actually. Especially if we added a tool on it, a scoring tool.
Yep.
But you could use it again to evaluate progress. And what else? Let's see. I think it could be actually also used as a baseline paper to give to the patient, a tool for them to have that they could take with them in the event they do end up ever being hospitalized, so that they've got some stuff with them. I'm just trying to think of how else the tool could be used.
What I was wondering is if we fragmented it a little bit, could we use it as a follow-up assessment? Changes to medications, changes in lifestyle support system, did you start drinking, smoking marijuana, anything in the last couple of weeks that I need to know about?
Then the other thing that we could do too is we could use it as a referral source. So some of these questions could trigger social services or chaplain services. So if we had some sort of a, if they say they're having a hard time coping, we call social services, or we call this, get them into this group activity. Or I think we could use it as a trigger to refer more services.
Yep. That's good. I can make this work.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so Lisa, I will put together my stuff and then do the outlining and get it to you by like 2 o'clock tomorrow, okay? Maybe earlier, but I don't want to promise what I cannot produce.
Okay, and I'll post this GHOA wherever it needs to go.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And
so we'll
then
have a deadline all by 2 p.m. tomorrow, or just I'm off tomorrow too, so I can do it tomorrow morning. I can post it also by 2 p.m. So.
yeah, you can certainly work on your area. Lisa was going to post it to Google Docs and then just paste it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I probably will have it to her by 10 or 11. I just don't want to promise that and then have something happen. But I'm going to make it a first priority tomorrow.
Well, you guys, I have to work tomorrow, so I won't be getting to it till evening.
No, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you want our goal for? I know Thursday is actually the due date for it. But do you guys think that we could try to shoot for Wednesday evening for posting the final?
I would like to do that. I hope we can do that.
Because once we cannot answer other people's until we post ours.
Correct.
So we're in a holding pattern.
Okay, so we're going to have our 8 subjects all done by Wednesday.
And then Lisa, as scribe, do you want to post, or who's posting? Is that? Let me look at our little thing. Is that me?
Lisa's the scribe this
I have
week.
to look and see.
So I think I'll
Timekeeper
submit.
submitter.
I'll submit.
Okay, yeah, that would be you, Yuhan. So, are you able to pull it off Google Docs?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No problem.
Okay. All right. So then, once you get the okay from it, once we all get it done, we'll ask her. We'll do an okay, and then once you get that, you could submit it by Wednesday night.
By Wednesday. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Just have to remind us via emails that we all need to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or the nay, or what we think.
Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, are we supposed to integrate? I read somewhere. Let me look whether or not we're supposed to put references and that kind of thing. I had it all. Hold on, let me look. I found something.
So.
Look it up, Janine.
Yeah.
What are you looking up?
It has under summary instructions, so under the content for week 4, it has part A, and then it has summary instructions. So the summary instructions for Yu Hong when she submits are there, and at the top she's got to list the name of the group, and then the group, no title pages needed. Total summary should not exceed 3 pages, but you do need to include references to support the information in the summary. So we need to make sure we get Yu Hong, we put references in there, and then we give her the reference done so that she doesn't have to do all those.
Yeah, we'll be responsible, our own parts.
For our own references.
Yeah.
And then it has a real, under there, submitting your assignment, did you see the instructions, Yu Hong? It's got a real specific way you're supposed to title it.
Yeah, I saw that, yes. And also we need to submit the assessment tool again. You have
to drop the tool and do it a certain way, and then you've got to drop the summary and do it a certain way. So that's because
you can use 2 files. Actually, it's 2 files. One file is for the assessment tool, one is for the summary.
Yeah, and they both go in the same area. The idea is that whoever chooses to review our summary has the tool and the summary to look at when they do the review.
Okay. Yeah, so basically I put one post but with 2 attachments of 2 files.
Yes. Yeah. So that should be good. And then just the second part is we have to just reply to two other people's. Individually we reply.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're opened up to being able to reply until we get ours posted.
Right.
Well, the group project at least is fairly reasonable this week. It's all the other things that are going to be tough to get done.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah.
I think we're good. We had extra minutes in the first attempt at taping, so I think we're actually at the hour mark almost, just that we had to restart again.
Yep. All right.
Okay, so I'll call the meeting. So are we done?
So, unless you guys have anything else.
Yeah. We're good? All good?
Okay, let's close it out.
Okay. So it's 8:52. So it's the end of our meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.